Some pretty big runs in yesterday. I was checking the spreadsheet, and it's great just to have so many of us out running. But I'm hearing rumours today that Owen Brown is running a marathon. I'll believe it when I see it. Who knows? Who knows? But I don't know if you've ever been rock climbing. I remember starting, and at the bottom of the wall, and I'd look up, and I'd see my route up, and be like, hey, that's easy. I'd back myself. I would back myself. I wouldn't even think. I'd jump on the wall, off I'd go. Left hand here, right hand there, left foot, right, up we go, climbing my way up. Until I get to about a third of the way up. And I stop. And I have no idea where to go next. I look around, I try and see. Everything just seems out of my reach and out of my grasp. And that moment of frustration builds, panic. And then I start doing brash things. I try and jump for the next handhold and miss and get caught by my harness. I try to get back on the wall, do it again, only to hear the person belaying me down below me saying, Dunks, hey look, put your right foot here, put your left hand there, and then after that put your left foot there and your right hand there. And before you know it, you're scaling that wall. The task that seemed impossible, you're now up. And I find the instruction of running the race with perseverance similar. At points it seems impossible. How do we do it? And as we look at today's devotion, we're going back into Romans 12, verse 2 and 3, because it tells us how. This is what it says. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. How do we run the race with perseverance? By fixing our eyes on Jesus Christ. But I don't know if you've ever tried to follow someone with your eyes shut. It's impossible. You literally have no idea where you're going. You fall off track. You lose them. And so often, how we do this in our sports clubs. We lose sight of Jesus in that moment. And it becomes about my performance. About how I do in the social, about impressing others. Or maybe it's about you being different and standing out. But not actually for Christ, but so you can get praise and affirmation. We find ourselves taking a break in the pit stop from the race. At a fueling station with no fuel, and we feel like stopping, giving up. And there is Moses with Abraham shouting, hey, keep going, run the race with perseverance by fixing your eyes on Jesus. Why? Look who he is and what he's done. He is the pioneer and perfecter of faith. The pioneer, the source, the beginning. The one who has paved the way for us to have a relationship with God and has removed every obstacle that was in the way. For look what he has done. Scorning the shame of the cross, the shame of our sin. He endured the cross, dying in our place for our sin. And yet he continues to see the joy set before him, because he knows that he will rise again and sit at the right hand of God, freeing us from our sin and allowing all who trust in him to have eternal life. And not only that, he's the perfecter of faith. He is the power source as we run the race. And back to that pit stop analogy, we're like a petrol car. We can only go as far as the fuel in our tank allows us before we splutter to a halt, empty. We can't go any further. And that is what happens when we try to live without Christ. But with him, he is our fuel station, not just when we need him, when we feel we need filled up, when we want him, but he sustains us at all times. He is our constant power source, allowing us to run for him at all times. He is and the one who enables us to grow in faith. And it is by him living in us that we can fix our eyes on him today when we run. So don't lose heart, it says. Do not grow weary, but run the race with perseverance by fixing your eyes on Jesus, on the prize that awaits. It's so easy to lose heart at times, isn't it? I'm a Manchester United fan. I lost heart 7 years ago as Alex Ferguson left. But we lose heart often in just day-to-day life too. When things don't go our way, when God doesn't do what we had hoped or expected, when the unexpected happens and we question, does he really care? And the temptation is to turn to the temptations of the world. Yet I plead with you, I urge with you to keep running the race. Do not lose heart. Why? For look what Christ has done. He has endured even greater pain and suffering so that we can know him. It doesn't make today necessarily any easier. Hence the author saying, run with perseverance. There will be challenges along the way. But look what awaits. An eternal relationship with God the Father, where we will join Christ at the right hand of God as his beautiful children. That is the prize for finishing the race. So fix your eyes on Jesus today. It is only by doing that that we will persevere. So this term, as you go back to uni, as you go back into your sports teams, as you run the race for Christ, what does it look like for you to fix your eyes on Jesus every day?